My topic is how the myths of the Appalachian region have connected the people who call Appalachia home. I chose this topic because it was something that I thought would turn into a really interesting project. I knew I would enjoy doing this research and that it would be a rewarding information to obtain. Everyone's lives are full of stories. The stories that we tell and pass down are what keep people connected. Telling stories can bring people together and allow them to bond over something. The Appalachian region is nowhere short of stories. The region has many stories that have been passed down for centuries. Most of these stories are myths and legends about the region and why it is the way it is. For many years, myths and superstitions have been passed down through oral traditions of the native tribes and early settlers in the Appalachian region, which has allowed a foothold in our Appalachian culture. Through traditions of telling stories, it has kept things alive and well known for many generations. If people did not tell stories, then there would be no memories from long ago. The legends and myths keep people together. Appalachia is an ancient land. The Appalachian mountain range is nearly 480 million years old, so it does not come as a surprise that there would be stories of animals and creatures darting through the dark woods in the middle of the night. Many people believe that since the region has always been so isolated and a rather risky place to live, that the people who created these myths did so in an attempt to give themselves some comfort, to remind themselves to look over their shoulder an extra time when out in the wilderness. Whether or not it is real things in the Appalachian region or just people's imaginations running wild, there is no denying that the region is home to a lot of rather terrifying things. One of which is Bigfoot. One very, very well known myth is that of Bigfoot. The story originated in the Appalachian region, and some even think that Kentucky's southeastern mountains may hold the key to proving the cryptid is out there, according to the Daily Yonder article by Liz Carey. A massively tall creature that looks like a bear but also looks like a human at the same time. It is covered head to toe in fur and stands straight up at a height taller than any average man. Anyone who lays eyes on this in the middle of the woods would no doubt be pretty scared. The story that people have created is an ape-like creature that conceals itself in the deep, dark forest, leaving behind footprints so large they could not belong to any man, according to the Blue Ridge Outdoors Appalachian Legends article I read. The story of Bigfoot is not only known in the Appalachian region, it is known almost worldwide. This story of a man like creature with huge feet walking around in the mountains has allowed people to connect. Telling the story has brought people together and given them common ground to discuss. Bigfoot is a story that has been told for decades and will probably continue to be passed down through the Appalachian families for many more centuries. Yet another myth is that of the Brown Mountain Light. This myth started back in 1913. It has been passed down in stories for over a century by a fisherman who claimed to see the lights dancing above the horizon. Many people have claimed they are cars or simply just the reflection of lights from neighboring towns, but this was proved inaccurate when in 1916 bad weather took out all power anywhere near the place that these lights can be spotted. But yet the lights still showed up, and people were even more confused on where they were coming from. Many people think that it is ghosts simply walking around the mountain looking for loved ones. This is just yet another example of how the people of the Appalachian region stay connected with each other through passing down stories. The people in the region all know of the myths and legends, and they all pass them down to their families, keeping them connected. Bigfoot and the Brown Mountain Lights are not the only two myths from the Appalachian region. Other myths include the Mothman, the Moon Eyed People, the Bell Witch Haunting, and the Flatwoods Monster. All of these stories are unique and original and hold an important meaning to the people in the region. Many of these stories and legends are passed down through generations because they are the basis of the culture for the Appalachian region. They give the region something that is its own. It is specific to Appalachia and allows the people in the region to have something unique that makes them special. Traditions and culture are extremely important to the people of the Appalachian region, and having the ability to tell stories to people and their families that their ancestors told them is a very important part of their culture. Another reason why the stories told in Appalachian culture are so important is because they are what some people in the region live by. People listen to the stories told by their ancestors and take it to heart. When these stories are told, it is not just another random story that they are going to listen to and forget about. It's something that's going to stick with them for the rest of their lives and shape how they see things. Growing up in the mountains is such a different thing than growing up in a city. So having stories that can cause a connection is really an important thing to the people of Appalachia. In an article by the Baltimore Sun, the author states that Appalachia is a community share of a community of readers with shared identity and values. I think that this quote perfectly explains why the stories are so important to the people of Appalachia. The region is a community, and the shared beliefs, stories, and myths bring them together in a way that nothing else really could. The stories that have been passed down for centuries will continue to be passed down by people in Appalachian communities. The stories and myths are what make the region unique and interesting. The telling of the myths connects the people that live in these areas and allows them to feel like they are a part of something bigger than just themselves and their individual families. Even if the people in the region feel isolated sometimes, they can always feel connected to the other people around them by telling a myth that originated from their hometowns or maybe even someone that they knew.